Hello coaches, thanks for joining me for another Modern Soccer Coach breakdown. Today we're going to talk about final third zone maps. We're going to talk about the benefits of them. We're going to talk about how to use one, and then we're going to give you a template if you want to use one and modify it for your own game model as well. If you enjoy it, please, as always, give it a like below. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And before we start, of course, if you enjoy this type of work and you want one of these maps to adapt for yourself and to customize for your team, just click on the link below and you can get yours. But before you download it, have a look at how we think you can utilize it with your team. Here we go. So you might have seen these zonal maps online. The first thing we're going to look at is what the benefits of them are. And for me, there's three benefits. The first are it allows you to communicate your principles in the attacking third with regards to aspects of the game model that are going to be consistent throughout, no matter what shape you're going to play in. Also gives you an opportunity to communicate what you prioritize within those principles. So of course we're going to have a multitude of principles when it comes to attack an organisation, but we might have a preference for certain aspects of it, and we'll take a look at that in the example in a couple of minutes. What we would prefer players choose over other aspects of what may be available regarding the opposition. And the last one is positioning, and yes, it goes alongside the principal aspect of it is the what shape and where and the consistencies around that there, but also it's a good way to communicate positioning for runs in the box, defensive transition pictures, and as we're going to show the example, giving individual players a variety of ideas regarding their position. Maybe it's a wide forward playing inside, maybe it's a wide forward playing outside, maybe it's a wide forward from an out to in run, whatever it is, you can do that with these zonal maps. We're going to show you how to right now. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is how to utilize this map in a traditional shape. So we're going to set up in a traditional 4-2-3-1, how we're set up in an attacking organisation with the ball at the halfway line at the centre back's feet. So the first one is the red zone, which is the goal zone, which is pretty straightforward, but although it sounds simple and easy, it's always good to connect it to the data in terms of shot selection and in terms of getting numbers into the box, into those areas, which specifically we're going to talk about in the next couple of pictures. The next one is zone 1, and that's the yellow zone. And this is where we prioritize in the initial area for our game model for assists. And this is for the 7s and 11s primarily. So we're looking at box crosses. Why? Because it's a shorter distance, it's in between defensive lines, and it's harder to defend against. We can also paint the picture in this here of how to access that space and how we can also get numbers in the box to get more out of these opportunities. The next one is zone 2, which is a little further back, this Kevin De Bruyne area. Again, we're going to look at these 7s and 11s, but we've got to point out that in order for this here to happen, we're going to need movement higher up the pitch. So instead of those 7s and 11s standing static, they're actually going to start off on the last line and actually pop into these spaces. We do need numbers high, so we getting those fullbacks high, having runners on that last line means that defenders can't step out to pressurise this cross. It also means that defensive lines might not know whether they should step or drop. There's a space to get the ball in and hopefully get the ball into that red zone and score. The next is zone 3. It's this central area where you're looking at your midfielders, your 2 holding midfielders, your 6s, your 8s, your 10s to have an impact on the game with combination play to unlock compact defences. Again, the 7s, the 9s, the 11s, all those attackers are all used with movement initially to unbalance defensive lines and then hopefully run in around behind the opposition back 4 to get into that red zone and score goals. And then the last one is zone 4, and that's that wider area which you're going to utilise for fullbacks. It's not a preference because there's a lower percentage chance of scoring from crosses from there because it's a long way in comparison to the box crosses. But if you get your numbers right and if the build-up is good and if you can shift the opposition from one side to the other, the fullback on the weak side might have good opportunity and good space, good positioning, and you can get numbers in to score, increasing your chances. So there you have it, coaches. Just some ideas around these attacking zonal maps that you've seen online. And we've also got one for you if you want to go ahead and practice with it and maybe modify it. Maybe you're not playing a 4-2-3-1, maybe you're playing a 3-5-2, a 3-4-3, a 4-4-2, and you're looking for a little bit more of priorities in those wide areas. Maybe you've got 3 different types of crosses you're looking to communicate with your team. If you download it, you can move the boxes and you can change the names and you can do all that good stuff with regards to your team model. So I hope that helps. I hope the download is useful. I think these maps are really, really helpful, not just with players, but also communicating with staffs, coaching philosophies. Always beneficial for a coach to communicate that with. I would rather have my players in here rather than I don't want this here. I think that's always a good dialogue to have a group of coaches and for staffs to understand what area a coach would prioritize over another. So hope you enjoyed that. As always, really appreciate the support. Before you go, please give it a download, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for the support. We will see you next week. Goodbye.